I want to begin something very informal because you've been sitting here for a very long time. How many of you have seen a clay pot? Can you just raise your hands? A lot of you. Yeah, great. How many of you have drunk water with it? Yeah, great. How many of you cooked with it? Fantastic. How many of you know that a clay pot can talk about a civilization? No, this afternoon we were here to discuss a book on the Ghatam. The interesting thing is, I don't think this book is about Ghatam at all. It's about memory, history, identity, gender, civilization, so on and so forth. The Ghatam is just a voice for all these ideas. Very interestingly, I have two very talented people with me here who work with clay. Jyothsna is a terracotta artist and Sumana is a Ghatam artist. Both of them work with clay. Sumana gives clay sound while Jyothsna gives clay shape. Right? Sumana listens from clay. She listens music from the clay. Whereas Jyothsna is going to give clay a shape, a form. So I'm just opening the conversation with both of you, Jyothsna and Sumana, because both of you spend hours with clay. Does clay have a personality? Does it resist? Does it cooperate? Or is it we who are just projecting ourselves on the clay?
First of all, namaskara everybody. And it's a great honor for me to be here along with Sharath and Jyothsna and to bring my book, Song of the Clay Pot, amidst all of you. Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for being here. Clay certainly has a personality, there's no question about it. I think like all materials do, every material, whether it's steel, whether it's terracotta, it's paper, every material has its own personality. And there are certain very, very unique things about clay which make it distinct from other kinds of material. Jyothsna, she works with her hands with clay, and she will vouch for the fact that this one of the very special characteristics of clay is that clay remembers. Clay remembers every fingerprint, and as you know, I've also tried my hand at making a ghatam, and I occasionally do a little bit of pottery. It's not just in the playing, but it's also in the making that clay remembers. Clay remembers civilizational history. We wouldn't be able to write histories of civilizations if we didn't study or if we didn't find shards of pots. So long histories have been written about that. And the reason I say that clay remembers is that when people who are ceramic artists will know this very intimately, that when one is shaping anything out of clay, clay registers every point of push, every point of stress, every fingerprint, and also the mental state in which one was working with it. If you've been unmindful or if you've been mindful, once you may think you've repaired something and put it into the fire, but once it comes out of the kiln, you'll see that it has actually encapsulated every movement, every grain, every shape, every circular movement that it went through. And this is something that is so unique about clay. So, well, that's my response to your question.
Very interesting. Jyothsna, you have something to agree or disagree on this?
Yeah, I completely agree with Sumana ma'am on this, because with my experience with clay, when I make jewelry, it definitely remembers. Sometimes what happens is, if I'm not happy with some design that I've made and I scrap it, I squish it and restart making it, it remembers that because it never comes out properly after that. It's very difficult to handle clay in that way because it remembers.
Okay. They've made a very interesting point, so I want to push them a little here. Because they said clay remembers something. Sumana and Jyothsna, I want to ask you this. Sumana, when you play the ghatam, do you think you're creating sound or discovering sound that is already in clay? Jyothsna, when you're creating something on the terracotta, are you unrevealing or unveiling something that is not there, or what's happening basically?
I feel like I'm creating something new. Not that the design is new, it might have been created by many people before. But to me, it's some new shape that has been created with the clay.
Okay.
For me, it's definitely a process of discovery. I cannot have the audacity to say that I'm making a new sound on this instrument, because all I'm doing is bring technique to the instrument. But the sound itself is something that already exists within this pot. And therefore, and after all, this is earth. I mean, earth, we were seeing that lovely film yesterday on Kaveri. So we know what the earth holds within herself. And it's all these patterns, these sounds, these fragrances, and the movements of every grain, all of that is encapsulated within this. I feel like this is a microcosm of the larger earth itself. So it feels like you're holding a small piece of earth, and therefore what I have here is definitely, it has the qualities of the earth outside, of the macro. And therefore the sounds are already embedded within the instrument for me. So for me, it's only about training in certain techniques so that it enables me to uncover the sounds that already exist.
Well said. That said, I really want to ask you something. A potter shapes clay with his hands. A musician shapes clay with rhythm. What is the fundamental difference?
I don't think there's a difference. There's really no difference except on the outside of it. Because there's rhythm in the way a potter makes it. If you've seen, any number of YouTube videos that will show how a pot is made, even a normal pani ka matka, it needn't be a musical instrument. Even when it is being shaped as a normal drinking water pot, when you look at the rhythm with which it is made, when it's spinning on that wheel, or when they're paddling and they're hitting on the pot to give it shape, then there is rhythm in that. And when we are playing on it, we're giving shape to sound. So the two are actually doing the same thing in some way for me. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes. Very nice.
I just have a small question here. Sorry to take your role. But so in what you said, while making a ghatam also there is rhythm. Do you think life itself has rhythm? So basically whatever we do has rhythm in it, right?
And this is not rhythm in this, of course, very simplistically speaking, the heartbeat and the pulse and the way you're speaking, all this is rhythm, but this is extraneous. There's a certain rhythm to how each of us lead our lives, and that is so intrinsic to each of us. And that's a very personal rhythm. One rhythm need not be the same as another person's rhythm.
Jyothsna, when you're making a piece of art, have you found beauty in a crack or even in an uneven texture by any chance?
Yes, it might look like a mistake or something that's not suitable to the design that I'm creating. But if it's already there, we can make it into something beautiful also. So that can be part of the design itself.
What about you, Sumana? What's with music? Can imperfections be beautiful, or is perfection the goal?
So, all my practice ghatams are broken ghatams, as in they are cracked ghatams. I hardly practice at home on a ghatam that is not cracked. So it might be a crack that is, on the outside, it might be something on the inside like a hairline fracture. But the point is that what we think has become unusable, or has now been broken, has become abhanga. This is an abhanga. Most of you would know the musical form abhanga. Abhanga essentially means something that is unbroken. And among all musical instruments, the ghatam is an instrument that is an abhanga, meaning that it is one homogeneous whole and does not have parts to it. unlike other instruments. Now, the minute you say there's a crack, then it becomes a bhanga, and many people would consider it, even outside of music, it might become inauspicious to play on to use something like that, or even musicians would think twice before using a pot that is cracked. Of course, you wouldn't use it on stage or anything. But there's a very interesting person historically. His name was Ghatam Sundaram Iyer. In 1927, he makes an impassioned speech at the Madras Music Academy, and one of the points he talks about is that how a broken ghatam or a cracked ghatam can produce the most beautiful sound. He in fact goes on to say, give me a cracked pot and I will show you how to make beautiful music on it. He is also responding to the situation at that time when the Madras Music Academy was not yet being formed, and in 1928, when the academy actually came into existence, the ghatam had been banned. So Sundaram Iyer was also responding to that kind of a scenario and saying, listen, you can't ban an instrument that is beautiful even when it is cracked. So a cracked ghatam is as beautiful, and so are cracked bodies. We'll talk about the body and the ghatam, but yeah, the cracked ghatam has its own beauty as well.
We'll make a note, Sumana. Cracked pots are useful. No, Jyothsna creates something that remains after she leaves, but Sumana creates something that disappears as soon as she leaves. Does that change your relationship with clay?
For me, it's impermanence. It's a quality that comes to me from my ghatam. So, we all talk about what's the durability, and this is the question that I get asked very often. Oh, but you're carrying such a fragile instrument. What happens? Will it break? How do you transport it? How do you move around with it? How do you pack a ghatam? Does it, because it's so fragile and so on. The point is, you engage with the instrument with the full understanding that this is impermanence. Like all our lives are. We don't know how long this journey is going to be. Today I might have this, in the next instant this might break. It could just be negligence, or while I'm getting off the stairs, it could just touch something and develop a crack. That's possible. Or a pot can remain with us for 2,000 years to tell the history of entire civilizations. So, just because you know that this is a fragile instrument, you don't not engage with it. Of course you will engage with it, but with the full understanding that this is the impermanence of life. And that's the biggest philosophy that my instrument has been able to offer to me.
Fantastic.
I agree with Sumana ma'am here. Many people have asked me also when I make jewelry, oh, if I just drop it, it will break, right? So why can't I go with metal jewelry or artificial jewelry? But see, they're like, we have to take care of it more carefully, we have to keep it carefully and stuff. But even if you consider any jewelry that you really love, wouldn't you take care of it? You would take care of it because you like it a lot. And even if you take gold jewelry or artificial jewelry, you won't just throw it as soon as you're done wearing it. You will keep it in its box, you will keep it in the wardrobe. The same way, clay jewelry also, you will have to take care of it. It's the nature of the clay to break when it's dropped from a height. But that doesn't reduce its value. That's what I would like to say.
So girl says loyalty to clay. Okay, you'll take that. Sumana, after reading your book, I understand in a lot of places you mentioned that ghatam was your calling, right? So ghatam chose you. You did not choose the ghatam, right? In a way. Are we actually kind of romanticizing a coincidence by calling it a destiny? Any chance?
Not at all, because I've put it to test. In fact, the first couple of chapters I've spoken elaborately about why I came to the ghatam, and this was only in 2009. I've not been playing the ghatam since I was this tall. I used to be a vocalist, a Carnatic vocalist, and only in 2009 was when I started playing the ghatam in response to a very, very deep call. Now Sharath says it might be coincidence, but the point is something that happens to you over 8 or 9 months cannot be coincidence. Once it's coincidence, second time you'd say it's okay. So what was happening to me was a series of dreams that I kept getting, and they kept recurring month after month, week after week, day after day. I would wake up in the middle of the night feeling like I'm playing a pot. I actually thought I had a hallucinatory condition, and I was almost ready to see a psychiatrist. Thankfully, my guru, who was teaching me vocal music, and my friends were very kind enough, and they said, no, this is a calling. You must respond to it, or you must find out what it's telling you. That's how I started looking for a guru, and when I found my guru finally, Sukanya Ram Gopal ma'am, who many of you might know, she is India's first woman ghatam player, and to my good fortune is based in Bangalore, where I live also. And we started classes. She was kind enough, very gracious. She said, come over and I'll teach you, which was the greatest privilege of my life. I went to her. We've started classes. It's class 2. And in the middle of the class, she has tears in her eyes. I said, you know, what's happened? Did I play a wrong note? Why is this happening? And she said, you know what? For 35 years, I was waiting for a woman student. So it's almost like the guru was waiting for the student, and the student is seeking a guru. What can be coincidence about it? I don't know. I don't have words to explain this better than the fact that this was destined to happen.
Brilliant, Sumana. It's not a missed call, it's a received call. Yeah, we'll take it, right? Sumana, there's one more very interesting thing that you said. You place body over the mind in your book. You agree with that?
Yes.
You say that, yeah, okay.
Totally.
Yeah, you say body is the vessel.
Body is a vessel,
right?
And for me, the body is greater. The wisdom of the body is greater than the wisdom of the mind.
Why would you privilege the body over the mind? It's absolutely against every philosophical tradition in India.
It's not actually. It's not against philosophical traditions that we've received in this country. This land has always had, of course, there are mind traditions and there are body traditions. If you look at practices like yoga or siddha or any of these, which totally privilege the body, and they talk about the wisdom of the body. Now, for instance, every mystical saint, every spiritual mind who has walked this land, actually walked across South Asia, I would say, has spoken about the body and the greatness of the body, wisdom, body knowledge over the wisdom of the mind. Now when Baba Farid says, Vek Farida Mitti Kulli, or Purandara Dasa says, Manninda Kaya Manninda, or Kabir says, Ghat Ghat Mein Panchi Bolta Hai, or Allama Prabhu says, Ghatava Nodedu Ditava Kana Leke, A Ghatave Ditavendari Tare Salade. All these are body traditions. They are talking about the wisdom of the body. And therefore, for me, when I started playing the instrument, very literally, I moved from the voice which is invisible to playing something that is so visible to me. So it was the body began to engage with the music in a very different way that I had not known earlier. And therefore, through all the experiences that I, of course, narrate in the book, for me, the body takes precedence over everything. And I've explained that why as well.
So body is the vessel, then who is the musician?
Sorry?
The body is the vessel. Who is the musician?
I have no idea. I really have no idea, because the body is receiving. It's like the ghatam is receiving, this body is receiving, and I don't know where it's coming from or who is filling it up.
What tells your body that it is receiving something? Isn't it the mind?
No, you can feel it. It's the sensations in the body.
Who is feeling it?
Okay. The body is feeling it. And I think from my body, so...
The body is feeling. Who feels that the body is feeling it? Yeah. Okay. You have something to add there?
We'll take that off.
We'll take that off stage? Okay. Okay. So, very interestingly, when I spoke to Sumana, she was very interested to, pursue herself as a women percussionist. So I have a deeper question for her. Say tomorrow, okay, even before we go to that, why do you want to say that, Sumana? Where does it become necessary and where is it a limitation when you say that you are a women percussionist?
See, sometimes, of course, we talk about equality and all of that. You just want to there are spaces when many of us, Jyothsna is a percussionist herself, is also a percussionist besides being a veena player. And many of us sometimes are saying, don't call us women percussionists, just say that we are artists like anybody else. We don't want to have that. Having said that, sometimes you need to assert yourself. And one of the things that I've talked about in the book about why it's important to name women percussionists, or percussionists because that's the area that I'm talking about, or women in general, is that if you don't name them, they will not be named. And I strongly believe, from my own experience or from my guru's experience, if women do not write their stories, if women do not write their histories, they will never get written. Right? So it's also about what is history privileging, what is the lens through which historians are looking at the past, and whose stories get written. It's only from that point of view that sometimes you need to put yourself out there and say, hey, there are women who are doing this, this, and this. So it became very important for me from that point of view to position this book as the story of a woman. The second point is that, which I have argued in the book, is that women's experiences tend to be much denser, much nuanced and complex compared to experiences that a patriarchal world offers to men. So how do we capture this? For instance, now let's take the pedagogy of the Ghatam, and this is a very long, point for discussion, but I'll illustrate very, very briefly. Now, for instance, many of you might have seen a Ghatam in concerts. Now, this mouth is supposed to come in contact with the midriff. And you will see that a lot of men those days would unbutton their shirts, and this is how it would play against the stomach. And a particular kind of sound is generated because it's coming in contact with the skin. Now, this is the pedagogy of the Ghatam. This is how a Ghatam has always been taught. It has been taught by men almost always, and it has been taught to men. Until somebody like my guru comes up as the first woman, there's no precedence. And when she's taught to do this, how does a woman's body respond to it? And there's also, I've discussed this. There was one 1969, I think, an article that came out in Tamil, which was titled Pengal Ghatam Vasiklama, meaning can women play the Ghatam? And one of the big questions here is it okay for Indian women to play the Ghatam? It's a very interesting thing. It's not about, any other woman. Can Indian women play it? Meaning that you'll have to bare your stomach. So is it decent enough for an Indian woman to do that? These were questions that were being debated at that time when, this girl had started playing, and there's a lovely interview with my guru's guru, Vikku Vinayakram sir, talking exactly about this. So when pedagogy is made for a male body, and when the audiences also accepts that this is the way to do it, the whole ecosystem accepts it, then how does one communicate a woman's experience of either learning it or teaching it or performing it? Because there are nuances at every level. So because of all these, I think it's sometimes very crucial to call somebody a woman artist, and which means that you're only acknowledging the entire world of nuance that's coming with it. Yeah.
I've said this off stage, but I want to say it on camera today. How many of you know Dr. M. Balamurali Krishna, the greatest musician that we have seen? Yeah? How many of you know Abhayambika? Nobody knows Abhayambika? She was Balamurali sir's manager. You know, she played a vital role in getting all the manuscripts of Tyagaraja's Shishyas and the Shishya Paramparas so that Balamurali sir was able to tune and sing them. But in none of the interviews or none of the autobiographies or biographies or articles does her name get mentioned. So I completely agree with Sumana that history sometimes has to be rewritten so that women really get the place that they deserve. Thank you. Jyothsna, do you also see your instrument the same way Sumana does, or is it a little different?
I think for Sumana ma'am, the Ghatam called her.
Yeah.
I don't think the Veena called to me. I was brought up with the Veena in my house. My mother is a Veena artist. So from my childhood, I've been in the presence of the Veena. I think I called the Veena to me and not the other way around. So I was fascinated with my mother playing the Veena, and so I began to play it itself.
Okay.
Mridanga, maybe the other way also works, because I feel like I was fascinated by rhythm, and Mridanga also called out to me the same way I called out to the Mridangam, and that's how I got introduced to the world of percussion.
Fantastic. It's an incoming call for Sumana and an outgoing call for Jyothsna. Yeah, right. So supposedly, I ask you guys to exchange your professions for 6 months. What is it that you'll discover about clay that you haven't discovered till date?
I have no idea. I'll have to actually do that. I've exchanged, I won't say I've exchanged, but I've tried my hand at ghatam making, at playing with clay, at making stuff, and there's been incredible learning. In fact, I think every instrument player must engage with making the instrument. There's so much that comes out of that tactileness and that, engaging with the making that feeds into one's own practice. And the playing definitely changes when you know how to make something. And that's what actually took me to ghatam making as well, where I apprenticed with the ghatam makers in Mana Madurai. Only to discover that the ghatam I was playing on was actually made by this elderly woman. And that became a big revelation. Until then, the world had believed that this is a male instrument and that it is made also by the men. Till, Meenakshi Amma was finally found, and not found, I wouldn't say, because she's Ramesh. Ramesh is the person who makes the instrument. He's widely known, and it was actually his mother who works on a particular technique, which is when the sound begins to emerge from the instrument.
Yes.
And she's the one who breathes life into this pot. So, it's for me, it's a full circle. I don't know what more things I'll discover when I start playing, making clay stuff.
Last one on the gender, Sumana. Supposedly, at some point of time, everything is, considered to be neutral. In Australia, when a newborn is happening, they don't consider it to be a male girl, female girl, baby boy, girl boy, nothing. If that happens tomorrow, would you still pursue saying that you are a women percussionist or just a percussionist?
It depends on the context, Sharath. Like I said, there was a time when women had to come out and say, okay, we are women, we will do this, we are capable of this and all of that. Now we've reached a point, even 15 years back, when I started playing the ghatam, there was a big need for that. There were women's festivals happening all over. There were not so many women's groups that were playing music. But now there are many of them across North Indian music, South Indian music. You'll see that there are several women's groups that have come up, which is fantastic. And now we are at a point where when we are saying to organizers, listen, don't call us because you want color on stage. This is something that organizers often tell, women artists, that we need to see colorful saris or dresses on stage. So we want a women's group, which is, you don't have to exoticize Or you don't have to exclusively call them because you want to. It's sort of a token that on Women's Day, chalo, let's do a women's concert and all that. That's not the point. So now we are telling people, hey, just invite us because you respect us as artists. Having said that, at some point you go a step beyond this. If at some point, I know I'm not there yet, but if at some point I begin to bring my women's experiences into what I'm playing, which is going to be different from what I've just learned as skill, as technique. But beyond that, if I'm going to bring a womanly experience into my playing, then with great pride, I'm still going to call myself a woman percussionist or a woman ghatam player, because there's something which is so unique to me and my woman's body that I'm going to bring onto the instrument. So that becomes very important for me, at which point I might still go back and call myself a woman ghatam player.
That's good.
I think it's interesting that we label, when women are doing something, we label it as a woman doing it. For example, just the word sports is automatically directed at men playing sports, but then it's women's sports that give us the idea that women are playing sports. Why can't it be like both ways? Women's sports, men's sports, and not just the term sports. Similarly, in the field of music, a woman percussionist or a male percussionist. Why can't we have both? Why just women?
We'll answer that backstage here. Okay, the last question for Sumana just before we close. Sumana, say after 50 years from today, if people read your book, what do you think they'll remember? About the ghatam or about the questions that ghatam forced us to ask?
Both, I think. I just want to bring in here an analogy with language. There was a famous linguist who said that a language is just a dialect with an army and a navy, right? So when we look at history, there's things that have been documented. This is, mainstream history will give you a certain set of stories, but these are, let's say these are the 22 officially recognized languages of India. But does that mean there are only 22 languages? No. There's 20,000 dialects just within India. So what happens then? Does it mean that only these 22 languages existed? No. There's another whole world of languages that has been left out and is not part of the 22, right? It's the same way with history writing. History only documents certain things, but when we look at the past, the past is always a cumulative of what is documented and what is not documented. The silences, the gaps, the erasures, the censored, things that have remained on the margin, all of this sum total makes our understanding of the past richer. So when I talk about the ghatam became my lens, it became my medium to talk about all the things that were unsaid, all the things that history did not document. In fact, the story of the ghatam itself, forget women's histories and all that, this has been an instrument within the Carnatic music setup for the last 150, 180 years, and yet we do not have a coherent documentation of this instrument. But when I was writing the book, which is a melding of my personal journey and the public story of the ghatam, what was interesting to me was not what is documented, because there wasn't much for me to fall back on there anyway. What I was relying on is what have been the silences. What is the silence telling me more than what is the documentation telling me? Therefore, for me to look at these memories, these these things that have only existed in orality, they have not been spoken about publicly, or even just bodies and language, the language of the body. How much has the body archived? You were earlier asking, Sharath, about the question of the body. In fact, in a lot of performing arts traditions, the body becomes an archive. I have imbibed from my guru directly a certain amount of knowledge which now resides in this body. Just the fact that, when I'm playing that, then a certain body language is entering me, so the body then becomes the archive. Therefore, 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, when people are looking at these histories, I want people, hopefully, they will all see that, history writing is the totality of all these things. And what is written is always going to be a subset of what might exist outside. So, but just to know that what is written can just give leads into something that is probably not talked about. So that's what I'd like people to remember, and the fact that something as simple, as modest, as humble as a clay pot can actually become a mirror for us to see ourselves, to see society, to see what the complex socio-cultural, political notions, behaviors that all of us within the society are capable of. So yeah, that's what I think.
You want to demonstrate a little? We'll sing. We just have a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you want to
We'll do it quickly. Yeah, we'll do it quickly. Yeah.
Sagari sani sa, niri sani pani, pasani pagapa, sariga pani sa. Sagari sani sari, niri sani pani sa, pasani bagariga, sariga pani sa. Sani pagari sa, sariga pani sa. 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 Nibaga pani sa. Nini sa. Rini sa. Gari sa. Nipani. Pagapa. Gariga. Rizari. Sani sa. Sani sa. Sani sa. Sani sa. Sani sa. Riri sani sa. Riri sa. Gari bagani basani risa gari sani pani sari gari niri gari sani pani risani bagari sani re 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 ga 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 pa pa pani ni ni sa re 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 ga 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 pa pa pani ni ni sa re 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 ga 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 pa pa pani ni ni risani bagari sani re 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 ga 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 pa pa pani ni ni sa sa re 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 ga 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 pa pa pani ni ni sa sa re 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 ga 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 pa pa pani ni ni risani bagari sani re 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 ga 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 pa 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 ni 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 sa 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 re 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 ga 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 pa 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 ni 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 sa 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 re re ga ga pa pa ni ni sa.
Just thank you.
Thank you so much. This is, like I said at the beginning, it's a truly a big privilege for me to share my thoughts here with the lovely audience in Mysore. Thanks to Sharath and Jyothsna for being part of this conversation and for actually Sharath leading the conversation. Thank you so much.
I just couldn't help mentioning, today Sharath is looking the more colorful one, rather than the ladies. You've outdone them in color. Good
Oh, thank you.
your dress.
Thank you.
This discussion on Song from the South has been a beautiful celebration of music, literature and culture. I would like to thank Sharath R. Rao, Jyothsna Hebbar and Sumana Chandrashekar for sharing their insights and experiences with us and for their brilliant performance.